Hello, welcome. This is Samir. I'm back with one more Facebook Live, and we'll continue to talk about messenger bots, how to build marketing messenger bots. So I've been doing this series of videos where, as you can see, the title is Messenger Bots, how to connect with your website. We have been talking about how to drive people to Messenger and start having the messenger bot experience, basically how to drive people to the messenger bot. And we have been I've been showing you different ways of doing that from the website. Website is one of the channels, one of the avenues where you can drive people. So again, I'm Samir. I'm doing this series of training videos where I'm teaching you how to build messenger bots. If you're joining me live, type 1 in the comment, say hello. If you're catching this up on replay, type 2 in the comment, say hello, ask me questions, give me feedback, share this if you know someone else can benefit from this. I would greatly appreciate that. So I'm going to turn this off first. And I am going to switch to the screen sharing mode here. Hang on 1 second, just making sure. Okay, so this is the ManyChat dashboard or ManyChat interface. This is what we have been using to build the messenger bots, and we'll continue to use that for a few more upcoming videos. We have a lot to cover. I'm going through each and every feature of this tool, of this platform. So it'll take us some time, and we'll continue to use this tool because we are going to cover a lot of different features within the ManyChat itself. So in the past video, what I did was I was showing you how you can add a button on your website on a landing page. The button which, when the visitor clicks, they are taken to the messenger, the bot activates and starts the conversation. So basically the button is a way for driving people from your website to the messenger bot. Today I will be showing you something very similar to that static button, and that is called a box, which is the box with a button. We still have the button, it's a bit different, but it's in many aspects it's similar to the button itself. So let's jump right in, and as we build, as we preview, you will get a better idea what I'm talking about. So I think I already have the tool here. Maybe let me just reset, let me delete that. So we go to the navigation on the left side here in ManyChat. We go to the growth tools, and I'm going to delete this because I think I created this earlier, but I want to show you the process from scratch. So here's the new growth tool. I just clicked on the blue button on the top right corner, and I'm going to go to the embeddable widgets box. So I just clicked on the box, and I'm going to name it, remembering making sure that I name all the widgets, because in the past I have forgotten to name them at times. And okay, so I'm just going to name box for now. So this is if you have been following along, then some of the things are going to be familiar. Otherwise, some of the things I say may not make sense, and if that is the case, then ask me questions. So there are 4 familiar tabs. Those are the 4 steps of building a widget, building a mechanism for driving the visitors to the messenger bot. So the first step is the initial state. That's the initial state of your widget. How does it initially look to the visitor who lands on your website, on your landing page for the first time? You can see the preview here on the right hand side. It has the headline, description, and the button itself. So the description is optional. You can show or turn off using this the sliding button. There are two types of buttons you can have. In our previous couple of videos, I showed you the checkbox button, and by default what you are seeing, the blue button on the bottom right, that's the send to messenger button with a fixed title. So I'll continue to use the send to messenger button for this training. And you can change the design, you can change the colors of the background, the description, and the headline. You can change the button background to white or blue, depending on your the color scheme of your landing page. But this is a box, so it's not just the standalone button. What we are building is the box, and the box background is white. So if your box background is white, it's better to have a blue button, because you always want the button to stand out. You want the button color to be in contrast with the background color. So that's what I'm talking about. You want to choose the large button size. For the most part, you want to choose large button size, because typically you want the button to be easily visible. That's why I recommend a large size. There is an option of putting in an image on top of the headline, and then you can change the width of the box. So let's try like few different things. As you can see, the default was 350. I changed it to 450. It increased the width, so that's the width of the box. Now you can select this fit container, and we can see how it looks once we publish it. Okay, so for now I'm not going to fit container, but once we publish, I'll probably change that and show you what's the effect of using that feature. So this is how it initially looks. Now when the visitor clicks on this button, how does the box change? That's we design using the submitted state. Because the button has been submitted now, we can use this submitted state tab to design the messages and the colors of the box itself. So as you might remember from earlier videos, in the submitted state we have two options. Either we can send people to a different URL, different page, or we can keep them on the same page and update the box, right? So show new message is the choice where you keep them on the same page but you update the box. So the box background color now has changed from white to green. The headline has changed. You can change the description, as well as you can change the button title. You can by default it says view it in Messenger. Remember that here the expectation is that once they have already clicked the button, they should be going to the Messenger app basically. So that's why by default the button title in the submitted state becomes view it in Messenger. You can change it, but remember the purpose of the submitted state is to remind people to go to Messenger, basically to thank them and then remind them to go to Messenger. So you can modify it, but keep those two objectives in mind. So then you have few color options here. You can add an image on top of the title, and I'll save that. The box is saved, and then I'm going to go to the next tab. So this is the opt-in actions. Here you can design or define your opt-in message, the message that they see after the get started button, right? So let me kind of go back one more time. So this is how the box initially looks to a new visitor. And we set up the title and the description in a way that we invite people to click on the Send to Messenger button. I have talked about it several times in the past, but we have to give them a reason to click on the button. We want them to go to Messenger and start interacting with the bot, but we have to give them a reason. So the purpose of the headline, the title, and the description of the box should be that invitation, should be give the reason why they should click on the button. Now, assuming the visitor is clicking the button, then they'll be taken to the submitted state. So in submitted state, you thank them for clicking the button, for taking action, and then you remind them that they have started a journey, and the next step of the journey is for them to go to the Messenger app and start interacting, right? So we are thanking them, we are reminding them that, view it in Messenger or go to Messenger. And once they land on the Messenger, once they go to Messenger, the first thing they will see is the Get Started button at the bottom, right? So the confusing Get Started button. They will not see the opt-in message right away. They will see the Get Started button. Once they click the Get Started button, then they will see the opt-in message, which you can change here by clicking this edit. You can change the opt-in message here. You can use replace. Let me pick one of the old ones. Overlay dynamic widget opt-in. So I selected that. It gave me, when I clicked on replace, it gave me a list of all the different flows that I have worked on so far. And then I picked out the one I wanted, and on the bottom right corner of this new pop-up, there is the select this flow. It previews the flow that I selected. I checked that it looks okay, and then I selected the flow by clicking that green button. So that's how I can replace the opt-in message. Add subscriber to sequence is something we are going to talk about later. And there you go. Now I have all the pieces of button in place. Now is the time to set it up on the website. So when I go to the setup tab, there are two steps. I have to install the JavaScript, and then I have the HTML code for the box itself. So wherever I put this div HTML line, that's where the box will appear on the site. This is a fixed box. Remember, this is not a dynamic box. This is a fixed box. It will appear wherever you put the div code. So you click on the install JavaScript. There are a pop-up appears. There are two steps here. Make sure your site is authorized. My site is already authorized. It shows you the format, mysite.com, and then add button. If you don't see your site authorized, make sure you add that. This is the, when you go to the step B, you see the code. You can copy the code to the clipboard. And then you have to put this code on the head section of the page where you want the box to appear. The JavaScript only needs to be, it at least needs to be on the page where you want the box to appear. If your box is going to be up, if the same box that you design, you want the same box to appear on several different pages of your website, then you need to put the JavaScript on each of those page head sections, right? So we do that. You can do that by using one of the WordPress plugins that lets you globally replace or add the code to your head section, or you can do it locally. So I'm going to show you locally for this example, and I'm using WordPress because that's what I use. If you're using something else and if you're getting stuck, ask me questions in the comments and I'll be happy to help out. Okay, so let me go to, I have a test page that I've been working with and using for this training. So I'm going to go there. I went to all pages, under pages, and this is the test page. When I hover over that, it gives me options to edit or view. I just clicked on the edit. and I'm going to switch to the text. I'm sorry, I'm not going to switch to text. I use Visual Composer. I forgot I have there are a few different websites that I work with, and so in Visual Composer I will go to the raw HTML section, because that's where this is the section I used for the static button. I'm going to use the same section for the static box. So I'm here, I'm going to remove the existing code, and I'm going to pick up I already copied, sorry, this is the JavaScript. I am going to copy the div code for the box. I'm going to put that here. I'm going to save changes, and then I'm going to scroll down, and that's where I have the JavaScript. So this is the local head section for the test page, and I'm going to stick to just the local page for now. I click the JavaScript and I place it there, and I saved the changes. And once it's done saving, I'm going to view the page, and then let's see how the box looks, whether it appears or not, right? That's the question. Okay, so I don't see the box, and I think I remember having made this mistake so many times, and it was not intentional, but I still keep making that mistake, and the mistake is I'm not activating the growth tool. So I just activated that. It's on the top right corner. It was still draft. I activated that, and then I'm going to reload the page. And then I expect, so there you go. The box is appearing, but it's appearing kind of offset. I was expecting it to appear in the middle of the page. So maybe I can look into that, although it's really a page formatting problem. It's not a ManyChat or Messenger bot type of a problem. But let's see if I can figure that out, what's going on. So I'm going to spend like a couple minutes and see whether I can realign that in the middle. So I had just replaced the previous button with the box, and previous button was appearing centered, but the box was not appearing centered. So let's take a look what's happening. I'm going to go back to this raw HTML. So there are design options. Let's see if there is any centering options here. There aren't any like direct explicit centering options there. Let me go back to the growth tool itself and see whether there is any settings that I missed. So the width is 450. Let me try to change that. I changed the width of the box to 350 because sometimes the page formatting is sensitive to the size of the element, and it could be that changing the default size of the box might have messed up with the default formatting. That's why it was showing on the one side. And then next we'll check the container part. What's the behavior? I mean, of course, what I'm showing you is just a sample behavior. It may not be the same for your case. You might not be able to replicate or repeat the behavior because usually there are so many different elements or factors at play in terms of formatting the page. So it's kind of hard to see what's going on. That's why I don't necessarily want to spend a lot of time doing that, but I want to see if there are any obvious things. So no, it's just wants to stay there, it's probably because of the Visual Composer default formatting, and that's something I will kind of try to spend some time offline and see how what's going on. But let's change the container settings and then see what's the impact. So I just changed the fit container, then I saved. I turned on the fit container option, then I saved, and so this is how it looks. This is how the box, static box, looks without the fit container. And once I reload, let's see how it looks. Okay, so what it's doing is it's kind of spreading or kind of pulling the dimensions of the box, the width of the box, to fit the container width of the page, right? So the container is an idea that's relevant to the web page designs. And I'm not necessarily a design expert, so I have a limited understanding. I might not have complete understanding of what it means, but basically it's the page is thought to be contained within a container. That's my understanding. So what it's doing is it's kind of blowing it up, blowing the width to fit the container. And in a way it solves the formatting problem, because rather than, as you saw earlier, it was jumping to the corner. Now we just kind of we spread it so that it's occupying the full container, right? So in a way it solves that problem. But this is something you may or may not want. This may not work in all scenarios. And it may not be acceptable for you to have it kind of fill up the whole container. But that feature is available if you want to use it. So I just wanted to show that, what will be the impact of that. And hopefully it is clear to you now. So I'm going to go back here and just trying to make sure if there is anything else that I need to highlight. So in all other regards, it's very similar to a standalone button, right? It is really a standalone button, but button with the title and description, which you can change. You can also change the title and descriptions on the page itself, or you can pick up a box which lets you change the title and description within ManyChat. So it depends like what kind of formatting or design flexibility you want for the box, the title and the description. Because if you're doing it within your web page editor within WordPress, then you might have certain amount of flexibility in terms of what you want and what you can design. ManyChat gives you some flexibility, but not a whole lot. For example, I cannot change the font of the title because ManyChat comes up with a fixed font. It doesn't let you change. So normally it'll make sense for you to have the text font which is matching to the rest of the page, right? So then if the font that ManyChat gives, for example here, this font, so let's check what is that font. So I have an extension, what font extension, I find it to be very useful because just like right now I want to check what is the ManyChat font. It is LATO, Lato. And I am using Cabin, right? So they're not matching. So it's the ManyChat font, the default ManyChat font is not very useful to me. And it doesn't matter a lot, but I think that the design does matter. The consistency of the font within the page elements, those things do matter. Those are important considerations. So given that, sometimes you may just, want to pick the button. So that's why I think ManyChat gives you button as well. You can just pick the button and then have your own title and description that you can have a matching font for. So hopefully that makes sense what I'm describing. Just trying to talk about the limitations of different tools and how you can overcome limitations. You're not stuck using the ManyChat Lato font, right? You can not choose the box, you can choose the button, and you can come up with your own title and description with whatever font that you would like on your page. So I think we have a couple more minutes. I want to continue to go through this process where I show you all different growth tools that are available within ManyChat. And I was hoping, okay, so let's just at least take a look. If I go to new growth tools, I just press that button. So we covered all the widgets, all different widgets. Of course, we have not talked about the subscribing to the sequence. That's one element in the setup that I have not talked yet. I will talk about it in a separate series. It's a big topic in itself, and then once I talk more about it, I think it will become more clear how we can use the growth tool to subscribe people to sequences. So we looked at these 6 widgets, 4 overlay type, 2 embeddable fixed widgets, and then we'll move on to the other growth tools. And I think next time we'll start with landing page. I'm going to stop here because we just have like few minutes, couple of minutes. I don't want to start a new growth tool. We'll start it in a separate video. But if you have any questions, if you're catching me up on replay, type 2 in the comments, say hello, ask me questions, give me feedback. I would greatly appreciate if you give me some feedback. What do you want to learn? You may be interested in a specific aspect of bots, specific aspects of marketing. Let me know. Let me know what it is that you want to learn more about, and I'll see if I can talk more about that. If I know, if I have some expertise, then I can talk more about that. If I don't know what you want to learn, then I will just come back and tell you that I'm not the expert, so I can't talk about that. So I'm going to stop. Thank you so much. If you watched part of it, thanks for checking in. Thanks for tuning in. Say hello, like I said earlier, and I'll be back tomorrow, approximately around 2 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll continue to talk more about marketing messenger bots for your business, how to build marketing messenger bots from scratch. Okay, so thank you so much, and goodbye.